Day, right?
2/12. Is it Groundhog Day? Yes,
We
we're
are
the media. We're on
media
on
taking care
camera.
of media. It's a wonderful
Action
thing.
Media Productions, I know, is going to make us all look great, as
It
always.
is a wonderful thing.
Thank you.
Tell a story and also talk a little bit about the work that he's doing with the foundation.
Thank everyone for coming out this afternoon. We really have an exciting program. It is something different that the Chamber normally hasn't been doing, but we wanted to take this opportunity to really showcase somebody that we think is important and has a worthwhile cause. One of the sponsors, or the only sponsor of this event, is Mr. Bill Atkins, and we'd like to honor him with a certificate because he really is one of those members who's extremely active in the Chamber. He's really a great guy, and he has a personal story actually related to David, which is why we are so lucky to have him as a speaker today. So please help me to thank Bill Atkins.
Hi, good morning, everybody. I'm really pleased to be able to help out with having David Goldman here. And for those of us who have any issues in our life, listen to David Goldman, because he has a story that's really compelling and makes the things that we complain about in our everyday lives seem like nothing. I mean, to have your son taken from you and looking for him for 5 years, he had the resilience to keep coming back again and again and again. So pretty much just thrilled to be able to assist with having David Goldman as a speaker, because I think it's a really compelling story. We used to drive David and his family back when Sean was little. We used to keep his car seat in our garage until they came back, and David's just a real genuinely decent guy, so I don't want to take up too much time. I'd rather leave it for David and the other speakers. Thank you.
I'm honored to introduce to you today Father, activist, and author David Goldman. As many of you know, David fought an inspiring 5-year battle to be reunited with his son Sean, who was abducted to Brazil in June 2004 and returned to the United States on Christmas Eve 2009. The case received international media attention and introduced many around the world to the growing tragic issue of international parental-child abduction. Inspired by his experience and desire to support the other parent and children victims of international child abduction, David co-founded the Bring Sean Home Foundation and authored A Father's Love, which provides a first-hand account of his fight to reunite with his son and his ongoing advocacy work on behalf of these victims. Ladies and gentlemen, David Goldman.
In the last 3 years alone, there has been over 4,700 American children who have been spirited across international borders, abducted, and retained illegally, mostly by a parent, some by an uncle or an aunt, or someone who is known to the child. We teach our children about stranger danger, but most of these abductions are occurring from a friend or a family member. With our foundation, we have a group of friends who help me spread the word, get the website out, to help me bring my son home. Now we're doing what we can to help these other folks. We need to be there for them, as so many people were there for me, and I can never accept this gift of Sean and I being reunited without doing whatever I can to give back and help these other folks. It just turned out that this happens to be my mission now, not only to be a dad, but to help these other folks. What did this man do that was so horrible that not only did this mom, his wife, want to leave him, but take his child on the other end of the planet and keep that child from this? What is so horrible? There's got to be something. And in my case, there was nothing. I was a loving father, a loving husband. She chose to do this on her own. Could have been driven by her parents, her mom, wanting her to come back to Brazil so she could be close. I don't know. My focus wasn't trying to figure out the why. My focus was on the love for my son and how I could bring him home. I lived basically a dead man walking for over 5 years, and there's parents now who have surpassed my time in length being away from their children. And some of them just continue to live a life with a big hole in their heart and emptiness. One of the things my dad said, once Sean was returned, he said, not only did I get my grandson back, but I got my son back. I never once would let the idea of giving up come into my mind. Even when people told me, you know what, maybe you should be one of those parents that wait till your child is 18 and maybe they'll come seek you out. I wouldn't hear of that. That almost was offensive to me. I had my mission, my focus, my right, my God-given right, not only my legal right, but to be with my child. Once we were reunited, these memories that they tried to put into his head to erase our true, real memories slowly were fading away, and the real came back. He was told just horrible things, but he saw the love. When he came back as on Christmas Eve. I mean, of all times to come back, he came home on Christmas Eve. So everyone was in such a festive spirit. We had signs in our neighborhood, "Welcome home, Sean. We're glad you're home." The other day, I was mailing a letter. I recognized her voice, and then I looked, and then, oh, that's who you are. Oh, we were with you. We prayed for you. So it's always all good. And yeah, we get recognized sometimes, but it's all good. It's fine. I'm happy to report he's doing wonderful. The other day, we were in the car. It was raining. He studied all day long. And we were coming back from a basketball game, which he was dealt his first loss. So they were 2-0, now they're 2-1. He jammed his finger, he didn't score many points, he had a bad game, we're driving home, and he looks at me, and he says, "Dad, this is the worst day of my life." And inside, I'm doing backflips. I'm so happy that this is the worst day of his life. All right, well, I'd like to, again, thank you. Thanks everyone for coming out here, and thanks for having me and letting me share my story, and thank the Chamber of Commerce. I hope you guys enjoyed yourself. It's always a pleasure for me to come and speak and share my story and hopefully give some people inspiration. Thank you. Thanks, Walt.
The fact that he's with his son now and his son is doing wonderful. And he made a comment that his son said that he had the worst day of his life the other day, and it was because he lost a basketball game. That says a lot about David. So that is such a cool story, and I'm going to buy the book, and it's a nice thing. So I was really happy to be here.
My name's Steve Landau. I'm with Harmony Bank. We've been a chamber member for a couple of years now. Always meet good people. This afternoon's event was really very insightful. It was great seeing really a local celebrity, because I know he's from Tinton Falls. We all followed the news on TV a couple of years ago, and it's great to meet him in person and know that his life is going so well. And for the Chamber to put that together, I think everyone really appreciated it.
My name is Kimberly Katz. I own an organic hair salon in Red Bank, and I thought it was a great meeting. It kind of like brought tears to my eyes a little bit, the story, and I can't imagine the frustration that he went through. I mean, I was just saying I don't know how I would handle it, but I think persistence is like a key there, and if you're determined and you want something bad enough and you work really hard at it, you can pretty much achieve anything.
I would like to introduce Mark DeAngelis, who's a director of our foundation. Thanks, Mark.
It was actually a slow day of fishing, which sometimes happens, and David was just, all consumed by what he was living through in his life at the time, and, didn't really know my father and I. We were perfect strangers that day, yet during the course of the day, he opened up to us, told us the story of what had happened, and we were just really floored by it. And I can remember driving home that day with my father and saying, we kind of just shook our heads and thought, what a great guy, what can we possibly do to help this guy? A lot of people don't realize that when something like this happens to you, not only is your world turned upside down, but you have no idea who to turn to. The average person on the street who has something like this happen has no idea who to turn to. You know how people are when they're in love. They don't want to think about these things. Nobody in their worst dreams would ever imagine something like this happening. But part of the work of our foundation is to not only to help children who have already been taken out of the country, and that's, as you know, a monumental task to begin with, but also to help on the preventative side with these cases. The best place to start is contacting your congressman and our 2 senators here in New Jersey, asking them to support this legislation. So thank you for your time. Appreciate it.
we help David go forward? We can help David by connecting on social media. We have it on our Facebook page, Joy Family. David has a page. I liked it today on 71 accounts. We liked it today for 71 accounts. Tweet about this stuff, like it, share it, get it out there. The other thing is we talked about donations. So from the chamber, we have 3 chamber members, and I'm going to ask David to come in a second. We're going to start the donations with $750, which is being donated by 3 directors of the chamber. So I want to thank the directors for that. I want to thank those of you that made special. When there's a message like David's, or a message somebody else that we bring in or we want to partner with, we can go out to the political arena, not as politicians, but to stand for a cause and get that message out there, because people don't know what's happening unless you do it in numbers. Okay, and I give David a lot of credit for everything that he went through. And I mean, I'm so motivated to say, you know, I wish I could write you a check for $1 million. In order to do that, you all have to come to my IHOP. You know, I can't promise that, but I can promise you we'll get the message out there. It's our Beacon of Hope Award for 2012. So, David, you want to give you this?
I thought this was an excellent event. I've followed the story of David Goldman all the years that it was in the press, and it was wonderful to come, to get to meet him, and to hear from the inside, you know, his passion and his determination to get back the one thing in his life that he loved and was so important, which was his son.
Today was a great event. I'm very happy for Bill Atkins from Red Bank Limo, who sponsored the event. I know he put a lot of preparation into getting this event together, and there was a great turnout of over 100 people. And David was a great speaker about his persistence and his dedication to getting his son back. And I think there's a lot about perseverance and determination that business owners can take away from it. So it's a great event.
Well, I think his perseverance was phenomenal, that he just kept going and going and going and wouldn't stop. I think it's just a very heartwarming story, and I'm glad I'm here, and I'm glad I listened to it. I'm going to get the book.
This was a very inspiring story. I followed the story when it actually happened, and it's just amazing how David had the thought to just, no matter what, he was going to pull through, never thought about giving up, and that's just inspirational to everyone. And I'm happy that I was able to make it here for the event.
So touched by the whole story. I mean, I remember seeing it on the news, but to hear him talk about it in person, it made me cry. But I'm so grateful for what he's doing for other people who are in this predicament. I'm definitely going to get a book, go over and introduce myself to him, and definitely make a donation. And I am going to take the suggestion of the other gentleman and write a letter to my congressman.
I commend him for everything that he's fought, you know, day and night, you know, because it is something that is not a fight just in the media. It's a fight within your mind, you know, heart and soul. It takes a toll all the way around, and for him to have it within him to keep it going is really inspirational to every parent out there that would be, you know, hopefully not, but in a situation like this is very inspirational and leads to hope for anyone out there in the same situation.